Hi everybody, Adam here. Welcome back to our Lego room. Super happy today to be able to show you guys our progress so far on the Metra Bud Gallery and Cab car. These train cars are based off of instructions from Brick Train Depot. Really impressed with how these models are coming together, and still several things that we need to finish off before we can start putting them through their paces on the layout, but they are already looking super cool. And today's video will be kind of a closer look, an update on progress, and we will talk a bit about next steps with these models as well. So let's dive in and take a closer look. So first off, just as a reminder of what these are based off of and what they're going to look like in the end, these are both based off of instructions from Brick Train Depot. We've got the gallery car, which is the train car out front here. And then we've got the Metra Bud cab car, which is the train car in the back there. Both really impressive. Instructions distributed, like I said, by Brick Train Depot. The instructions were put together and the model was created by BK Bricks. And have to say, they've done a really amazing job with the overall look of the train cars. More on that in a moment. These train cars and any more that we build will be pulled eventually by the EMD F40PH, a Metra locomotive, which is also based on instructions from Brick Train Depot. And we have all the parts in place for this. We have started to put together the engine, but it's in the early stages. So more on that in the coming weeks. But that is what's going to pull these train cars when they are finished. Now, one of the first things you'll notice as we look at the in-progress state of these train cars is we don't have the decals or decals, however you like to say it. We don't have those yet. They are on the way in the mail, so hopefully it won't be too much longer before they arrive here. But you can see, the BNSF railway on the tile there, and then the Metra on the blue. And then there's some more text there right beside the doors. So lots of cool details that will go in once we get those decals. And you can see on the cab car, mostly the same stuff, except we're going to get a really nice decal for the end part of the cab here. So really looking forward to that. I think the decals are going to add a ton to these. They already look amazing, but I think those decals are really going to throw them over the top. Now, first off, taking a closer look at the gallery car, really love the vent pieces. It's been so many vent pieces to put on the entirety of both of these train cars that, it's a bit bonkers, but I think it really adds a lot to the overall look of the train car. So much detail down the sides and across the top of the roof with those vent pieces. So really happy with those. I think they add a lot and really help drive home the overall look of the, sort of the finished train car. These windows are really nice as well. Love the tinted inserts there for the window pieces. Really nice. For the first version of this gallery car that I've built, I ended up with clear windows in here. You can get a tinted version of this part as well. I don't know if I'm going to go back and change this particular one, but for future versions that we build, we will be tracking down the tinted brick for that particular part of the train. don't think it matters too much, in the overall sort of grand scheme when you pull back and, most people looking at the train car, I don't think they're going to notice too much what the color of that clear transparent brick is there. But, for me, I think I would prefer that tinted version. I might even look at just putting doing sort of a little bit of tinting on my own of the that transparent brick there, just to darken it up a little bit. But I think the windows are a really nice part of this train car, and super happy overall with how they've come together. Also, really big fan of some of the shapes we've got here. I love the fact that the door area here is lowered down a little bit. I think that's going to be extra cool when the wheel areas are put onto the train car. So that's obviously one of the biggest parts that's missing currently on the train car. We're going to have obviously wheels at both ends here. I've got pretty much all the parts, I think, in place for that. So we will be working on putting those together. Hopefully they won't be too bad to do. There are a lot of details across the bottom part of the train car. And I'm going to look for what sort of the best middle ground probably is for working on that. When we're taking a train car like this out to shows and running it around the layout regularly, some of those low-hanging pieces on the bottom, tend to come off just in the course of transportation or moving around the layout. They may catch on bits of track or other parts of the layout. So I'm going to try to add as many of them as I can, but I probably will leave off a few bits here and there just to make sure that we don't lose parts or have too much stuff that could fall off the bottom. But I think once those wheels are in, that's just going to add to how cool this doorway and bottom part of the middle train car there looks. So we've got, decals are coming. That's going to go on. We've got the wheels. Then the other main area that still needs to be finished up is the end part of each train car. Just a few other details I need to work out there. And one of the reasons that I haven't gone farther with that yet is I need to find some of the sort of rubber tube or hose parts here. So this is a gray extra bit that I had that I've been using, but you'll notice we've only got it on the front, this front part of the car here. We should have it theoretically on the back part over here as well. And there's parts on the cab car that should have it. And there's some of the end cap stuff that requires it. I don't have a good source for that at the moment. I'm curious if people have a particular brand or type of material they're using for parts like this. Would really like to be able to pick up, honestly, just like a couple of spools, one of gray, one of black, something that's got, enough rigidity at this size to be structural in some cases, because these parts here, it's holding a couple of different sections together. There's going to be some of those that are going in on the back here that are going to be holding bricks onto the end of the train car. So, if you guys have suggestions on what I can use for the that rubber hose material there, please let me know in the comments. That's one of the big things I'm going to be looking to pick up that will be useful not only for this build, and I'm hoping I can get away for the most part without needing much of it in the short term for this build, but long term to make these train cars sort of, all that they can be, and to, finish up some of the other train cars that we've got in our queue, having at a minimum, that light gray and a black version would be super helpful. I'm sure it's the sort of thing that I'll buy a couple of spools of it, and then it'll be, I'll have that for life basically, because I can't imagine that you go through it very quickly, because you're just using little chunks here and there throughout builds. But those are the big outstanding things when it comes to this particular train car. So decals, wheels, and the end cap details. The gallery car. Oh, one thing I guess I should mention, this question has come up about these cars before. This is an 8-wide train car. Not sure how many studs long this is. What have we got here? Roughly 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32. So I'm going to guess that it's going to be about 64 to 66 studs long and 8 studs across. A really large train car, which I think is going to be awesome. I'm curious to see, once we get the wheels on, how it moves around the layout. It should work fine with the R104 and R120 corners that we have, but curious to see how it will perform, given that it'll be the really by far the longest car / locomotive that we have on the layout at the moment. So that takes care of the gallery car. This is like a mid-train car, whereas the cab car here is one that would show up at the end of a train. So there'd only be one of these pretty much, I think, in any given train. Lots of the details are the same, when it comes to the windows and most of the exterior details. What you will notice is different is the end sections of the train car. So, where we've got the double or sort of the full length windows here, we've got a half size window on the ends there. And then up top here, we've got a half size one as well. So, really cool details there. Love the fact that there's those small modifications that you see from the front or from the, I guess, the side view that really help drive home the look and the purpose of this particular train car. There are some different details inside. I don't think that most people are going to see that. It's something I experienced when I was putting the build together, but not something that most people will be able to sort of appreciate. But the end cap for the train should be pretty cool when it's all said and done because of that, the red decals there. As you can see here, similar to the other train car, I haven't finished off everything completely on this part of the train car. There's some more details to go in. There's going to be a few bits of the hose material, like I said, that we're going to need. I'm also waiting for a few extra parts to come in to fill that last gap there. And we've got a little bit of detailing to put in up there as well. So should be really impressive. I love, the fact that the decal here is going to really differentiate this train car and I think look really cool when it's on there. So looking forward to adding that. I think it'll be a really neat sort of end cap to what should be a pretty impressive train when it's moving around the layout. So looking forward to getting that completed. But, beyond that, this train car is really in the same boat as the gallery car. We're looking at decals, we're looking at wheels and sort of undercarriage details, as well as the end caps needing to be finished off. The only real difference here is this one has a few extra pieces that it's waiting for. So, these cars, I'm going to call them 85% done, 80% done, somewhere in there in that range. Really excited about where they're at. And like I said, these are massive and they look really, really cool. I'm already at the point, I still have obviously some work to do to finish them off here so that they can start running around the layout. I'm already at the point where I'm starting to plan out. I think it would be really nice to build another 2, maybe 3 of the gallery car to just fully sort of maximize out this train and to end up with a full-fledged beginning to end Metra train that we could have moving around the layout here in the Lego room and that we could take out to shows. I think that would be pretty cool. We'll do some checking, we'll do some pricing. I want to see how the cars start to run, but pretty sure that I'm going to pretty quick here put in parts orders, like I said, for at least 2 of them, maybe 3 of them to really give us a nice sizable length train. That feels kind of, to have 4 or 5 cars behind the locomotive feels like the right number to have a proper sort of passenger train. Makes me wonder if we're going to need another locomotive in addition to the one that we're already building, but we'll see how that goes. Definitely looking to get that Metra locomotive up and running as soon as possible as well. But I have to say, super happy with how these train cars are coming together. And, I knew they were going to be impressive from the instructions and just by, who is releasing and making these instructions. But, seeing them as they start to near completion, really, really happy with the purchase of the instructions and the experience moving through them. And like I said, now getting excited to build this out into a full-fledged train. So like I said, super happy with how these are coming together. I think they look awesome already and can't wait to get those last few details done, get the last parts in that I need to finish these off. And like I said, get those decals on there as well. I think they're going to really push this model over the top. So that's the Metra cab car and the Metra gallery car. So cab car in the back, gallery car in the front. And these will be part of a train pulled by this Metra locomotive when it is complete. Like I said, might end up needing to have a second one of those locomotives, but for sure we're not going to stop at just the 2 train cars for this particular train. Definitely see 2 or 3 more of these gallery cars in our future. And I think this is going to be a really awesome train to have both on sidings and around our layout, but as well as running around the layout as well. And the first of many large scale trains that we should have in our collection and around the layout in the coming months here. So super happy. Now, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please make sure to do so that you don't miss out on any of our upcoming videos. Like I said, if you have insights on where I can pick up some great flexible rubber tube hosing stuff for details like that, please let me know in the comments below. Looking to, at a minimum, get that light gray as well as a black version that I can use on these train cars as well as other ones that we are planning on building. And thank you guys very much for watching. We will see you again soon. Take care. Bye.